Well, hi everybody, and welcome to November. This is a great month for fall, Thanksgiving, colors, fantastic stuff all around. And this month, I'm celebrating the concept of how we stay connected to that divine idea that created us. And so that's the primary aim of this message, is to help you understand how important it is. And I love what Reverend Connie has picked for the mental equivalent, or for the reading this month, Seeing Life Expressed. And of course, Ernest Holmes tells us, you can't just live in that wake up every day world where you get up and you just go do stuff and you forget to recognize the eternality and the continuity of who you are, and how that concept of care, which we talk about in our Community First program, is so essential to all of our sense of well-being and our sense of creative power, our sense of creative authority, how we live our lives. But it all begins with one thing, and that is connection. And if we don't get connected to the divine, then all the stuff about care and continuity and creation and so on kind of go out the window, because we're not coming from that idea of the eternal. We're kind of talking about it, trying to look at it, trying to get a feeling of it. So the concept here is to not move with our sense of well-being, with our sense of continuity, with our sense of connected to Godness, our sacred connection, until we have actually, in fact, really connected. And there's three ways you connect in our philosophy. You connect through meditation, you connect through affirmative prayer, and you connect through using affirmations. And meditation, of course, is the concept of bringing yourself in total alignment with that which God is, centering yourself in that nature of the divine. So I'm going to be teaching this 12-step mudra, which I have created a number of years ago. And I want to just do the first three parts for you. And you can do it with me if you so choose. You kind of put your hand off to the side like this. You sweep it up in front of you and you bring it down. But as you sweep it up, you bring the breath through your nose. You let the air out as you're coming down through your mouth. The second move will be to align your left hand with your right hand. And then the third move is to bring them together and let them touch the fingertips, and then press. All of it done with a breath in through the nose and then an exhalation through the mouth. I'll give an example. Here we go. Right at the heart level. Close your lips and breathe through your nose. Then you bring your left hand with a big deep breath. Align with your right hand. Let your air out. Close your lips. Breathe through your nose. Take a big deep breath. Bring your fingertips together and press your palms on the exhalation. Let your lips close. Breathe through your nose. So creating that connection in that sort of silence is really important if you're going to establish a spiritual practice. Then, of course, then you're set to render care, because you're tuned into that divine capacity within you, that divine alignment, that divine centeredness. Then when you're centered, you're aligned, and you're correctly got the idea of God moving through you by means of your breath. Then when you're listening to people, you listen with a different ear. You listen with an internal ear that really begins to think more about the concepts of patience and peace, listening and forgiveness. I know that they go together. Gratitude and trust. And then you can also focus on that sense of creation. And creation is all a part of vision and veritas, which means truth and curiosity and challenge. And then, of course, continuity, where age, gender, and identity and education sort of disappear as qualifiers of who you are. And in their place comes self-realization. Huge difference between age, gender, identity, and education. When you get to self-realization, you forget how old you are, how young you are, how anything you are. And you allow your sense of self, and that self-realization is to realize you're ageless, you're timeless. You have this capacity to live your life and see it expressed. But you have to break that bond of apparent necessity, which means you got to cut that cord of that condition or circumstance that you might have walked in the room with by using meditation. Then, of course, prayer, our wonderful affirmative affirmation, affirmative prayer method, with those 5 great steps where we recognize the presence of God, we we unify with it. We declare it as the truth of who we are. We give thanks and we release. And I'll do one of those at the very end of this message with you. And then that sense of continuity and that sense of care and creation and that sense of connection all sort of magnify the beauty of the moment. That's what we're here to do, is to magnify the beauty of the moment. So I encourage you to come to church for this whole series. I guarantee you that as I teach you the whole mudra and you understand how to use it, it will bring you to another level of awareness of who you are, because you just can't help. When you are practicing that regular meditation, I would urge you to practice just those three moves, and I'll teach you those the first Sunday. And then the second Sunday, I'll teach you the next three and the next three and the next three until you have all 12 together. And it's a great, great spiritual practice. So here's the prayer for Thanksgiving for this month of November. Here's what I know. The presence of God's love is moving itself by means of that which is the truth. That truth is now expressing by means of every aspect of creation. There is nothing that is not animated by that truth, that basic truth of living. So I unify with that truth, and in unity with that truth, I know I can speak my word for each of us, and know that as I do and create that connection with the divine nature of life, that divine nature begins to expand and move by means of my very being and move by means of your very being. So I speak my word for all of you, for myself, for this wonderful presence, this wonderful gift we've been given of life. Thank you, God, for this life. I declare that my life is now that expression in truth. And that truth manifests itself as perfect peace and perfect patience in every word I speak, in every action I take, in every thought I think. That patience and that peace shows up in every condition, in every circumstance, in every relationship. And as it does, I manifest a greater experience of life because I truly become the agent of that principle, that presence of life. So I say thank you, God, for the opportunity to live in that principle, to be that peace, to be that patience, to be that thought, that idea, that very living presence of those ideas in conjunction with this world that I live in but don't come from. So I release this word with gratitude. Let it go with thanksgiving, knowing that this month, truly the celebration of that sense of gratitude and thanksgiving, now accepts the complete and whole made manifest of this word in the expression of your life and the expression of my life. So I release it into the law. And when I let it go into the law now brings it into manifestation, brings it into expression, brings it into full orbed beingness. Thank you, God, for all of it. Thank you, God, for the opportunity to be alive today, to be in conjunction and to be in relationship and to be connected. And so it is. Amen. So I bless all of you. Thanks for being around in November. I look forward to seeing you in church. God bless.